Right, welcome back and a look ahead at what is going to be happening next week. So I am happy that you've managed to come to my channel, clicked on the video and spending a little bit of quality time with me. And I'm hoping that the information that I share will add some value to you. Okay, so I just want to get into the market here very quickly. We got the S&P 500. This, again, all-time high. This market, completely in green, is unstoppable. It is completely unstoppable. And particularly now that the U.S. economy, people are getting back into their jobs and the U.S. economy really being resuscitated back into life. And it's shown all of these signs, so which is a good thing at the end of the day. And it's a good thing globally. You've got to be watching the US, what is happening in that market, because it does affect the rest of the world. So it's good news, and it will be good news for the rest of the world. Okay, so one of the key indicators that I really wanted to have a look at was the consumer sentiment report that came out last week. And yeah, pretty much this speaks to that. The economy opening up, people are quite bullish in terms of getting the economy recovered again. They're out spending, shopping, and things like that. So I'm not surprised seeing that the consumer sentiment is high, because it does speak to that. You had a nation that locked up its citizens for about a year and a half. So, they're out, they're traveling, they're spending. So, of course, sentiment is going to be high. But the biggest thing that is on everybody's mind, and you're going to be seeing a hell of a lot of this, particularly for next week, is consumers expect inflation to rise 4% over the next year. In other words, this is going to be the main topic of my video today. But it's going to be the main topic going into next week anyway. So we may as well address this, because you're going to see this everywhere now. Soaring factory prices in China add to global inflation fears. Okay, there is fear in the market, but it's inflation fear. Okay, so we got fear there. In emerging markets, right, the economies face higher interest rates as inflation jumps. So the emerging market is in fear mode about inflation. If we carry on, gold up near $1,900 mark as investors digest U.S. inflation data. Okay, so it's not going to stop there. Now, I want to explain something very clearly here. Why do we have inflation right now? It's not just because timber went up, or your staple consumer stocks decided to go up. Your food and Coca-Cola decided just to up their prices, and therefore we've got inflation. It's not because of them. Okay, so Milton Friedman, his theory that inflation is always and everywhere a monetary phenomenon, in the sense that it is and can be produced only by a more rapid increase in the quantity of money than in output. Okay, so what does that actually mean? Well, we had a pandemic, and every single government, the central banks and all governments around the world did what? Printed money, a stupid amount of money. And this is why we have inflation. So I'm going to point you to this article, which was actually written in 22 Feb 2021. All right. The world's free spending money printing spree will cost us dearly in the end. And boy, is it going to. Because now we are going to feel that cost. Because globally, we are in a inflation shock. Okay, so the world has mortgaged its economic and monetary future to uncertainty in the hope that the global economy will come roaring back after the pandemic. And this is exactly what's been going on. And if we go here, I just want to show you the crazy amounts of money that has been printed into existence, right? So the IMF's recent fiscal monetary update cites the latest figures for fiscal support globally at $14 trillion printed. I saw another figure that was at 26 trillion US dollars. So somewhere between 14 trillion US dollars and 26 trillion US dollars of fiscal policies, of money being printed into existence globally. to help combat the pandemic, job losses, to prop up companies, zombie companies, and things like that. It is a ridiculous, insane amount of money. Okay, this is why we have inflation. It's not because food prices have gone up. Those are just nominal prices that they go up every year anyway. It's just nominal pricing. We're just feeling it more because our currencies have been completely devalued due to this insane amount of printing. The blame lies with our governments that has printed recklessly. Now, the scary thing is, this is not going to stop. So let's have a look. Right, the G7 leaders agreed to keep money taps open. Okay, so they're going to still keep printing money. Everyone next week is looking at the Feds to talk about tapering talk. Does this sound like it's going to look at tapering right now? When they talk about this inflation being transitory, what they're telling you, what they're actually saying is when we stop printing money, there will be inflation while we print money. There will no longer be inflation when we stop printing money. It's really that simple. So inflation is going to be sticking around. There was a couple of other significant things that came out of the G7 meeting, and a lot of it has to do now with this rhetoric between Europe, the European markets, and also the US markets. Well, pretty much all the leaders from the G7 getting together and pretty much showing a force towards China. So China is in the spotlight. They are going to be feeling some proper heat coming their way, and rightly so, because China in a sense has kind of looked at being a little bit arrogant and kind of looking at bullying the world. I mean, they were extremely flippant towards Australia. I mean, who the hell is China at the end of the day? So you're going to see some of this rhetoric coming through. However, what I want you to focus on, and what I'm playing again, is going to be the energy stocks. Oil is going up. Okay, energy is still going to do well. All right, that has a direct effect on the financial markets, which will be your banks. Banks are doing extremely well. So get involved in the banks. The G7 leaders attempt to rival China with infrastructure project. Now, when Biden came into presidency, one of his famous slogans was "Build Back Better." Right, build the US back better. Okay, so they've got this infrastructure plan in place for the US economy, but he's taken the slogan worldwide now, and it's a worldwide brand in a sense, where build back better world. And this is what this G7 summit is really all about. Now, they are looking to rival China. There is there's a lot of heat that's going to come onto China, yeah. And the G7s are flexing muscle now against China, which I think is good, just to put China back in its place a bit. Yeah. Now, this is fantastic for the emerging market, because this Build Back Better world is actually for the emerging market. Okay. Now, again, in my previous video, I said you need to be paying attention to the emerging markets, because that is where money is going to be going towards. And this speaks to that. All right. So you've got to start looking at playing the emerging markets. That is where the money is. Okay. I want to get into Bitcoin, because Bitcoin has just had a fantastic week. I mean, it's recognized as legal tender in El Salvador. It's literally been classed as a forex at the end of the day in El Salvador. Great news. Great bullish sign for Bitcoin. And then on top of that, yesterday, it has been approved for a software, what they call a soft fork, but it is ultimately a software upgrade. And Bitcoin hasn't had a major upgrade since back in 2017. So this is massive news, and it actually shows Bitcoin can keep up and evolve itself with times. This is why Bitcoin will always be the king of crypto. And that software upgrade has to do with the Taproot. Well, it's called the Taproot activation. Brings massive upgrade to Bitcoin. So in other words, I don't want to get heavy into the technicality of all of this, but really for the sake of this show, it just brings new optimization to security. This actually helps with the second layer in terms of processing speed a little bit quicker. And this ultimately does help in terms of other second layers coming on board in terms of scalability side, simply because of these type of new optimizations that's happening within the security codes, well, how it receives these security codes. So, which is, ultimately going to speed up performance as well as lower gassing prices for Bitcoin. And again, just more usability for the Bitcoin network. And as you can see, Bitcoin network, as the activation is locked in. Now, apparently this update is going to be happening round about November, if we have a look here. So this means that on block 709,000 block is going to be in November, about mid-November. This is when the software upgrade will start being initialized. I'm very excited about it, and the crypto community is very excited about it. So I'll put this in the link if you really want to go into depth about Taproot. But yeah, it is an extremely important update for Bitcoin. All right, guys, that is my market recap. And yeah, please comment down below if you found some value into this, or if there's something you want a little bit more explanation on. But yeah, I hope you had a great weekend, and please pay attention to Wednesday. Everyone talking about the tapering. So just watch like Tuesday. You might see a little bit of pullback in terms of gold and also in the stocks themselves until the speech gets released. But the market's not going to crash. There's going to be no tapering. Talks like that are premature right now. Right now, expect inflation. Right now, expect more stimulus packages coming globally for the world. That means inflation is going to be sticking around for quite some time. All right, so play gold. Gold is a fantastic hedge against inflation. Okay, this is Chris Trade. Peace out.